Hey, what's happening? I thought I would give you an update on day one. Well, it's not day one. I've had 2 days to create something. I've been following a tutorial. It was only released about 5 months ago. It's by Game Maker themselves on YouTube. Just the RPG Maker tutorial. And it's labelled My First RPG. So if I click into the file, I'll show on screen now what it was before, and I'll show you what I've done now. So before, you'll see, and I'm not watching it, so I have to remember. So before, you can see that I can move. So I put these tiles in place, and if you don't know what I'm on about and you're really confused and you want to follow along, I'll link it in the description. You can follow along as well. So you can see me walking around here, and then if I move a bit further along, I'll interact with walls as well, so I can't go through the walls. And I'll go through the code in a little while. And a mistake I made, which was really annoying, and you'll see it now. When the enemies look at me, so they're supposed to follow me, but they weren't. I was almost like a repellent, which was really confusing, because I was like, I understand the code, and I copied it exactly, and I was really confused with why it just wasn't working. Literally the fix was, I don't know if I can highlight it. I might not have enough time in post-production to highlight it, but you can see in the step code in section. And steps, from my understanding, is the things that are happening constantly in the game, don't stop. And then alarms are moments in the game where something happens. And then create is just setting, I believe they're called variables. I might be making it up, but I think they're called variables. So we're gonna go with that. And so yeah, we're just naming stuff in create. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. So the target Y was set equals, or was it the same? I think it was target X and X. I think I said it double, or I did something about it being double. So they just weren't working properly because of that, and that was really bad. And then I was so happy when I found out that was the reason. You can see the enemies are still rubbing against each other. But now if I switch to a different screen and show you what it's like now, you can see they actually follow me around, which is good. That's what you want. And also, I made it so there's either two options I could take. Either when you bump into an enemy, it turns into an actual like RPG battle. So like your Pokemon and your Undertales and your classic RPG, I guess. And then you go into the battle screen. Whereas I was like, nah, I just want to do the sword fighting one. So I had to create a new object of a sword, which is just an animation of a swipe, and every time I hit a monster, it would take a life off. There was another thing I was really confused at, and I was like, didn't even make the enemy have health. But overall, I had no issues, apart from that the enemies weren't working, and they kept rubbing into each other, which I think I've found a sort of fix to that, but I'm not 100% sure if it's actually working, because they still rub against each other. So I don't know if, yeah. And anyone can suggest anything. I put 16:16 move speed, because I saw someone in the comments of the video put that, so I was like, okay, I'll copy that. Because you can also do the undefined move speed code, but that didn't seem to work, so I just went with that. I understand all the code, which is good. Well, the majority of the code, there's some bits and pieces which I understand the premise of and what it's trying to do, but I don't understand why each of the words are there, which I think will be what will happen the first time going into this for the first time. I think after a while, things will start to click, but for now, it feels like I'm just copying code, which probably isn't a good thing. I should probably understand what it's trying to say. But I think the more I work with it, and if I write it on my own, and our programmers work anyway, you kind of just search up if you're on an issue or you want to add something to your game, you just search up how to do it and you just copy or do similar code. Anyway, if I start from, let's go with the room. Room was easy, literally. There's its own room creator 2D, and you just literally, like, with the box button, you just drag across the screen and it works fine. And you can even drag and drop enemies in as well. So if I go to the player, so at the top I've set, see, these are the variables I'm talking about. So HP, because your HP isn't defined, it doesn't know what HP is, but now it does. So HP 10, and then HP total equals HP. So yeah, that's self-explanatory. I do 1 damage, and that facing 0, I'll get to it. I'll get to that. So in the steps, this is weird. So I've never had code before where you minus the values, because the OG value is 0, and if you minus it, it goes the opposite way. If you plus it, it goes the other way. That probably makes no sense, but that's why it's like that. And you put like the horizontal and vertical. And I think, oh no, I think variables are here actually, aren't they? I'm wrong. Yes, because variables are things that can change throughout the game and different values. Okay, that's wrong. So that's how the movement keys work. Very straightforward, but it's still a bit confusing. Like, why is it like that? Move and collide. So yeah, just move and collide. So that's with the wall. So we've set the tile map to layer tile map get ID to tiles collision, and that's just the name of the walls. Is tiles collision. So also, I don't understand. Still don't understand the star. I think it's times, but it wouldn't make sense because you got horizontal times by move speed. Yeah, I don't get why there's a star there. I look at it as in it's linking those two together, and then when that horizontal or vertical bumps into the tile map, then it stops. Yes, that's when it collides. So you can't go through it. And then we've got if statements. These are, I'm not gonna go, I don't wanna bore you with all the specific details. These are everything the sprite is doing. So left, right, up, down, and that's with the idle as well. And that facing code is for the sword. So I had some issues where when I looked to any direction in the idle state, it would always swipe the sword to the right. So if the code remembers where, and it resets it to 0 every time, then it will understand where it last was, so the sword will go the way you're facing, which is what we want. And then we've got the sword. So if keyboard press the space, so that's different to the speed keyboard. Sorry, the keyboard checked. It's keyboard check. So that's when you're holding it down, whereas the press one is just like a one-time thing. So you hit it once, you can't hold it down. That's the difference there. And if I scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that it makes you restart if you lose all your HP, which at the moment is 10. So if an enemy hits me 10 times, then I disappear and restart, which should show on the screen. So we'll go to the enemy parent. So the enemy parent and the enemy one is different. So enemy parent is like the code that's the same for all enemies in the game. So that doesn't mean I have to like copy and paste the code for every enemy. I can just use the enemy parent and it'll have the same code, but I can change the variables for each of them, which is where I was confused about the HP, because I hit so the damage of the sword is 1. I hit the enemy 3 times. I was like, well, we haven't set the enemy's HP, but we have, because it is in the bottom left corner of the enemy. Once you scroll down. Yeah, and then the damage is 1, and the distance to player is 80, and the move speed is 1. So I can change all of them and make it different for each enemy, which also makes it so much easier. So I understand like parents and then the little children being the enemies. But yeah, very similar code ish. So this time we have knockback. So knockback X, so getting hit vertically versus horizontally, set to 0. And using alarms was interesting. So they're just different actions that happen in the game. So if something happens, then this will happen. And that's very simple. But anyway, I don't want this video to keep going on. But that's kind of it. I'm picking some bits up, but I don't understand everything completely. I understand what they're doing, but I don't understand each individual word, if that makes sense. But so far, it's been quite a smooth experience, to be honest. Yeah, it's been alright. I like this engine, it's quite fun. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Oh, also, I was given all these assets from the tutorial. However, I wanted to make my own character, and that was a pain in the half because I had to create each of the sprites all over again, almost. I kind of used the one that was already there as a base and drew on top of it, but the original one had a turban, and I tried to copy myself and just had hair, so I had to delete a lot of that. So sometimes when turning left and right, it looks a bit odd, but I tried my best. He's a bit funky, a bit funny. It looks like he's wearing like a builder's jacket or a high vis, something like that. So I was thinking I can incorporate that somehow. Like you get a helmet or something. I don't know. But yeah, redoing all the sprites and making sprites takes a lot of time because you have to remember it bounces up and down, like in all idle states and walking states. So that means there has to be 2 animations or 2 sprites for each different sprite. And for walking, there's 4 different ones. So if you think walking, your arm goes down and then up. It does. So I had to do 1 here, 1 down there, 1 up there, and then 1 in the middle again. But you got to remember the feet are moving as well. So there's lots to think about. But that's kind of it. That's the update I have so far. Yeah, my next goal will be to create like a HUD and levels and dialogue. That's what I want to do next for like NPCs and things like that. I do want to add sound effects and music. I think that's something I really want to dive more into, and I want to make, this is going to sound a bit mental, but I was thinking about it, like some sort of portal. I want to make objects within the game. I've always wondered how you do that. That is different from like tiles and like cut tiles you can collide with and tiles in the background that you walk on. But we'll see what happens. I'll do another update in like 2-3 days time, depending how busy I am. But yeah, that's that. But yeah, if you managed to get to the end, thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want to follow along. It's not very interesting at the moment, to be honest, but I'm sure as I get a bit more creative, a bit more freedom, I'm not following these like step-by-step tutorials, a bit more of my creativity can come out, and I can really create the things I want to. And then hopefully, I think GameJam era will be fun in like a month's time, where I won't make videos during that because I want to be purely, maybe like an ideas video, but I want to be purely focused on that. And then yeah, create like a video of like my journey through it. But yeah, that's all for now. See ya.